Just realised I didn't post the link anywhere. Anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone that can hear the sound of my voice to this week's edition of the Petty and Ill-Informed podcast, where we venture our petty and ill-informed opinions about a variety of topics. Joining me is Nikki.
Hi. As always, I've been here pretty consistently lately.
You're doing really well. Pat your head.
Heck yeah, I deserve the praise. Hey, SoFlo. Good to see you.
Oh, it's nice to see SoFlo in the chat. Actually, we're down a co-host, SoFlo, so if you want to come up, just message me on Facebook. And do so before, Gabby does.
Whoever gets here first.
Yeah, first come, first serve. So, Tom sent me an interesting story. I'm just going to bring it up now. Do 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 do. Yeah. So professional. Oh, I should have had this ready to go. But then it would have looked serious. Silly. Here we go. So, here we have the news from the BBC. You can say BBC, that means something different in America, but in England it's the British Broadcasting Company. And they've gone with the flashy, attention-grabbing headline of Osprey pair embroiled in a love triangle. Now, Ospreys do go to America as well. So most of you are going to want to know what an osprey is. It's a large bird of prey that was functionally extinct in the United Kingdom for many, many years. In the last, I want to say 60 years, they've been making a real good comeback. And they're making their way back to England around this type of year. I feel bad for them because we've just gotten hit by a massive storm over the last few days, so they're not going to be having a good time of it. But yeah, so here we have a nice pair of osprey. They are monogamous. They do mate for life. And a third one tried to steal their nest site, which led to many arguments throughout the osprey couple. Well, two ospreys versus the one osprey. They saw it off.
That's a cute little real life soap opera going on in the bird community.
Gabby, the show's never been monetized.
Correct.
But no, you can't be on the same show as Nikki because that's just too much girl energy. You'd start talking about nails and hairstyles and periods and stuff. And
you might learn where the clit is.
I know where the clit is.
Men might learn that women don't pee out of their vaginas.
They totally do.
That's
the extra hole is a myth.
Your urethra is a myth, girls. It's something only men have.
You.
Oh, now that I can, help with that bullcrap.
But yeah, this is a nice little soap opera of two ospreys getting ready, building their nest for next year. To be fair, birds of prey nests, they're pretty durable. Once they build one, it's going to be there for a few years. And if they return to the same nest every year, they'll keep on top of it. So their nests last. So they would have landed there, earlier this month. They would have started rebuilding, putting moss down and stuff, and they'll be getting ready to lay their eggs soon. And this third osprey was like, yeah, this is going to be mine. I looked into it, and the osprey that tried to steal their nest actually lives further north in Rutland, which is close to where I used to live. It's actually the first place I ever saw an osprey. And yeah, pretty cute.
That's pretty cool. They're really pretty from that picture.
Yeah, they're attractive birds. They'll be long gone by the time you come this year.
Yeah. Are they usually in Scotland?
Yeah, all
Interesting.
over
I
the
didn't know
country.
that.
White-tailed sea eagles are also making a comeback throughout England.
Huh.
Hola, SoFlo. Okay.
Is he there?
I mean, his camera's on.
Cool. Cool, cool, cool.
Peeing after sex will not prevent pregnancy. No, I'm pretty sure even the stupidest man knows that.
Yeah, most you'd be surprised at the level of stupidity that exists.
I mean, imagine if a man finished and then went for a pee and said, "Okay, you won't get pregnant now." That'd be funny.
Oh, I can barely hear you.
Yeah, you're very quiet so far. Now there's a second Nikki.
Yeah, I'm having problems. Okay.
Well, I guess this is going to be the Everything Goes Wrong show. Nikki's gone again. There we go. Ugh. Hello? Oh, is it just me now? Okay, this is great.
Oh, great.
Oh, there you are.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. I don't have a browser thing telling me that I'm actually in here, so I can't say hello to anybody in the chat. I apologize, and I can't hear SoFlo really. I can barely hear him mumbling in the background. You might need to turn him up if that's possible.
I was trying. Couldn't do much. But yeah, I mean, this is the best time of year, really. All the migrant birds are returning to England and get ready to set up their nests. We usually get a few odd visitors. We had a gerfalcon not that long ago. We had a bearded vulture. That was awesome. Flamingos. Pelican once. We had a pelican in England once. That was really cool.
Nice. Pelicans are really cool. Completely, yeah, technical difficulties. I figured my part out. I've got it now. Let's see if SoFlo's in here.
SoFlo's back. Can't hear him.
Poor guy.
I know.
I can hear you barely. You sound like you're very far away.
Try going into your settings and turning your mic up. Oh, this is great.
I'm so
This is
professional.
so professional. We're the best.
Nintendo has a new game coming out, Tamagotchi game. So all of you 90s kids might appreciate that Nintendo Switch will have a Tamagotchi game coming out. I'm super excited. It comes out in June because I'm a nerd.
I remember I spent ages taking care of a Tamagotchi, and it was like 2 weeks old, fully evolved.
Mhm.
And I took it into school, and one of my school bully reset it just to mess with me.
Aww.
Yeah.
Mine all died.
Yeah, I would like to know who would win a fight between a beaver or a nutria. So I asked you because you're the nutria expert, Gabby.
I don't know what a nutria is.
It's like a beaver without a tail. It's honestly the best way of
Okay.
I know, Gabby. We've only just talked about this subject like 5 times. Now Gabby's saying Nutria would win. She first said a Beaver would win. So, like, now she's changing sides. That's weird.
So Nutria would win. Because I think Ice Spice in a fight would beat the hell out of Taylor Swift. I mean, I think they're besties, but I think that Ice Spice would, in a 1v1, she'd take that.
You said Beaver would win.
It's okay. He gaslights people, Gabby. I believe you. Believe women. Hashtag he gaslights me too. He probably
Gabby didn't tell me a Beaver would win. That was Michael who said a Beaver would win. Gabby said
Taylor see how he turns it around?
No, I was wrong. I'm freely admitting it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about this topic. But
okay.
But if a Nutria has street cred, then I believe Gabby.
Nutrias are like hood rats, and Beavers are like pond bitches.
Pond bitches?
Yeah, pond bitches.
I don't know what that means.
There's like white girls that hang ponds in the summer.
What? Hang ponds?
Hang around in ponds, on lilos and stuff.
What?
This can't be a British thing. America has much better summers. This can't be a British thing.
You're talking about like girls that hang around the pool, like basic bitches.
I'm talking about
preppy girls, redneck girls,
hang around ponds in like minimum clothing on like fucking inflatables.
Oh, like on a camping trip.
Oh God, yes.
Like with a lazy, like on a lazy river with the beer underneath.
Yes, that.
So you're trying to tell me that a redneck bitch would take out would not be able to fight a hood rat?
Money's on the hood rat.
I think that they're both very evenly keeled. They both scrap a lot. They both can be hyper aggressive for no damn reason. Most of the redneck women that I know will freaking rip you apart. We're talking, these are women in motorcycle gangs and shit like that. They're even keeled. I would say more like someone like a Paris Hilton or just a preppy rich girl versus someone more urban.
Gabby reckons the Beaver's like a
white chick from the Hamptons. Thank you. That's what I was saying. That's not anything like a redneck woman who goes out on lazy river on a camping trip and just chills out with her beer and gets drunk. Those women throw hands too.
No, that's bollocks analogy, because when was the last time you saw a white chick from the Hamptons do any work? Beavers are extremely hard workers. They're great engineers. One of my favorite YouTube channels, Post 10, he goes around clearing beaver dams from culverts that have blocked up the flow of like drainage systems.
Mm-hmm.
And he has to go to them 2 or 3 times a week because the beavers will just rebuild the dam.
Well, that water shouldn't be there.
I like to imagine there's a beaver version of Post 10 with his own beaver YouTube channel that turns up after he leaves and he's like, some bloody humans come along and cleared my dam. All right, lads, let's get to work.
I hate that I agree with Gabby because that was my first thought was the Kardashians are considered hard workers. So I disagree. I think that they have a lot of business obligations and probably emails to check, but most of their quote unquote hard work is just, posing for pictures or going to meetings. They're not really getting their hands dirty. If my daddy and mommy had millions of dollars, I could go to law school too and pass. Like what?
Are you saying that she didn't pass her law degree?
I'm not saying
On
that
merit?
she didn't pass it on merit. I'm not saying that she did. I'm saying that we don't know because she has so much money and it's been proven that colleges can be bought. I mean, I went to a college that passes anybody. I watched someone fail their final exam 3 times and still made it to clinicals. That's crazy. Crazy.
That
Like
person's a
I've
threat.
joked. She is, and I've joked about going back there for my nursing just because I was like, well, I can't fail and I can be lazy instead of being top of my class like I was, and I won't have to do crap. And it's an easy A for me to get my nursing license. But at the same time, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money you have to pay. I think I paid about $20,000 more than most people in my same field. So no, yeah, I was going to say that the Kardashians were considered hardworking, but I don't really honestly believe that they're as hardworking as most average American people. At least when they work, they see results. The average American works so freaking hard and they get nothing in return.
Yep, SoFlo's come back. Shall we see if he's able to talk?
Let's see. Welcome back, Slow Flow. Third time's a charm.
No, we
Is
can't
there
hear you.
any way you can get closer to your mic?
Hold on a minute. I'm going to try and turn him up.
Huh.
That's as loud as I can do.
Weird.
I can't hear a single thing he's saying.
Yeah, I can barely hear you, sweetie. I guess it sounds like you're on the other side of the room from your mic. He is saying a lot. Well, then.
See, this is why I reckon that, Nutria would win as well, because of what Gabby's saying, because, Nutria aren't as afraid of humans as beavers are. And I'll just add SoFlo again. I cannot hear anything he's saying. Can you hear him, Nick?
No.
Go into sound settings and try turning your mic up. Assuming you're using a PC, that is, and not a Mac.
While he's working on that, Split Fiction broke 3 Guinness World Records within a week of its release. The records
Nice.
were most played local co-op video game on Steam, most sold local co-op video game within 48 hours of release, and most sold local co-op video game within 1 week of release.
It's a great game.
Yeah. Apparently they have a lot. I didn't know Guinness Book of World Records did some for video games. Resident Evil has gotten one for worst dialogue in a video game.
Well deserved.
There's even a record for first video game played entirely as a wolf. Okay.
That's pretty dumb, but okay.
I agree. I agree. So, yeah.
Here's an interesting thing that I recently found out. Do you know who the first person ever to do a video Let's Play on YouTube was?
Who?
Chris Chan.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really kind of cool. Go Chris Chan for doing something innovative that doesn't involve being a lol cow.
Yeah. I thought
You
I didn't
know?
know that, but yeah.
I didn't either, but it makes sense. I knew that he did Let's Plays. I didn't know that he was the first to do Let's Plays.
One of the first. I don't know if he was 100% the first, but
That's really cool.
it's a tie between this one dude, between Chris Chan and this one dude who starred in a Chinese reality online TV show where they locked him in a room for like 6 months.
Oh, are you talking about the one where he had to sustain himself on things that he won from like local papers and stuff?
From coupons, yeah.
Yeah, and like yes, that poor man. That was torture. End of discussion. That man was tortured. That was heinous. And they kept throwing him back in. Like
He kept volunteering.
Yeah, because they kept promising him more and more whatever. And at one point they said, "Oh, you're out." And then they're like, "Nope, 10,000 more yen or whatever." Like that poor man.
I mean, but towards the end, I'm pretty sure that guy owns all the records for coupon wins because he knew exactly how to bloody play those things to get maximum rewards.
Yeah. But what a way to learn, right? That's the only way that you can live. It's the only way you get food.
He got dog food, which he ate, and rice. He was really happy. I don't know.
It depends,
Like,
man.
he did say, he did go on to say that it had a profound effect on the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And that, he was a lot more insular afterwards. But, he also said, it really, taught him to enjoy the little things in life.
Yeah, like actual food,
Like
actual clothes.
Food and freedom.
There was another gentleman back in the day who did they basically had a bunch of people in a bunker and it was 24/7 live streamed. And those people went crazy. Like they couldn't even take a shit in peace because the bathroom was like in the middle of the room, enclosed in glass. Everybody could see you do your business. When you were sleeping, there was a camera pointed at your face. Yeah,
I mean,
I need to find the documentary. It's a really interesting it was an interesting experiment that went horribly wrong.
Going to be on that raft documentary I tried to make us watch, but we couldn't watch it.
No.
Because the same thing happened there, but they had a wonderful time.
Oh, yeah. No, these guys did not. Drugs were allowed in. Whatever you wanted was allowed in, but you were under constant surveillance. And they find when people know they're being watched, they're going to act differently. And it can absolutely affect their mental health. So these people went off the rails and the experiment had to be shut down. I will have.
Well,
I think you would appreciate it.
I do like a good experiment. From on the subject of good experiments, I'm really fucking loving the Daredevil TV show. I'm just gonna be
It
honest.
is very good.
It's
I'm
nice that
enjoying it.
Marvel didn't mess it up. And we're just like, you know what? We're just going to give the fans, for once, what they want.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
Not
they'll
much.
continue to do that.
Yeah, maybe they've learned their lesson. Who knows?
I
Things
doubt
aren't going
it.
very well for the live-action Snow White movie, though.
They're not.
They're not. No, it's had a really bad opening week.
So what's going on with it? Like, what are
You
people
don't
saying?
know?
Why aren't they? No, I don't know anything about this. Please tell me.
Well, the lead actress, Rachel Zegler, did an interview well over a year now, where she basically slated the original movie, saying that it hadn't aged well, that it was shit, that it was the main male lead was a stalker and creepy, and maybe they should cut him out completely, and it should just be about her and her portrayal of Snow White. It was a really bad interview.
No.
And that sort of started this online trend of hating the movie before it even came out. But a lot of reviewers gave it a chance when it came out, and they went to see it, and apparently it's just not very good. And it cost about $300 million to make, which is ridiculous when you think about the state of the world right now. And they haven't even cracked $100 million after the first week of being open.
Ooh, that's not good.
That is not. That's literally the worst performing Disney movie of all time.
I am probably going to get some hate for this, but I'm not a big fan of older Disney movies. I am not really a fan of Snow White. I'm not really a fan of Sleeping Beauty. I have to be in the mood to deal with Cinderella. And I know that they're older, like they're classics and whatnot, but like I could do without Snow White and Sleeping Beauty. I really could. I don't give a crap about them. I never watched, any of those. Like I've seen them, but I haven't watched any of the other iterations. I just have zero desire.
Hello, so far.
So it wasn't like geared towards me anyway. So I had no idea that was going on. It's crazy how actors are painting themselves in the corners nowadays and getting themselves kind of blacklisted, just because of the stuff coming out of their mouth. And I get it to an extent, but then sometimes it's just like, listen, so what? She didn't like the original movies.
See, I don't care about race swapping, Gabby. I don't care about that at all. To me, the actor that does the best for a part should get it. And if they're a different colour than the original character, oh well. I mean, if race truly doesn't matter, then who fucking cares? I don't care what colour. I wouldn't care. Like, there used to be this black guy actor called Adela. He was in Lost. He was in Oz. He was a really big, bulky black guy. And I think he would have made a really fucking awesome Superman.
Yeah, I can see that.
And
I don't care really. I mean, there was one time, who was it? Nick, it's Samuel L. Jackson's character in the Marvel Universe.
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury was white in the original comic books, and I was like, for a second, I was like, Nick Fury wasn't black, and then I was like, who the fuck cares? It's Samuel L. Jackson. He does a great job. Who gives a shit? Who cares?
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson did a fucking brilliant job as Nick Fury until they neutered him.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't give a crap if if it goes to the right person. It's kind of like I saw a thing saying Jason Bateman's going to be the next Batman, and I was like, that's weird as shit, but okay, let's do it. I think he would do fine. He might be another Michael Keaton.
I
Michael
just
They didn't think Michael Keaton could do Batman either. He was considered a comedic actor.
all
It
I'm going to say
checks
about
out.
that is the same thing I've said for the last, I don't know, almost 10 years, well, almost 20 years since The Dark Knight came out, was that I signed 5 online petitions to have Heath Ledger recast as the Joker. And boy, did I look like a moron when that movie came out, because he was phenomenal. So now these days, I'll wait to see the movie before I judge an actor. Because I didn't
Yeah.
think Robert Pattinson would make a good Batman, but he bloody did.
Sorry,
Not a great Bruce Wayne,
SoFlo.
but he was an amazing Batman.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So I think Jason Bateman would do good if that's the actual decision.
We'll see.
But yeah. Anyway.
Anyway. No, that's all right, SoFlo. Long shot, anyway. I mean, yeah, obviously, Gabby, you couldn't play Martin Luther King because, that's kind of an important character. You couldn't race swap certain characters, like the Cleopatra
Like
movie
if they're
proves that.
right, like if they were a living person, that's a little bit different. That's a bit different. Can't be having a white man play Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks was a woman. She was a black woman.
See, I was going to say
She was an
Latino man.
actual literal person. But I think if it's a
Yeah.
fictional character, who
Yeah.
cares? If
It's a
the
fictional,
person
it
doesn't
doesn't matter.
exist, it doesn't matter. Like most of the times, if I've read a book, when it becomes a movie and it gets cast, I never agree with who they cast ever. I'm just like, that's not who I had pictured in my head. Like you kind of they're never going to be who you want them to be. They're fictional characters, so it really is up to interpretation and what's available anyway. So I don't know. I think that there's a big difference between an actual person,
Yeah,
and a fictional character.
yes, Gabby. I don't know why everyone goes nuts about Daniel Radcliffe. I thought he was a terrible Harry Potter, but I'm in a, I'm in a small pool.
I don't think he was a terrible Harry Potter. I think that I was just really impressed with the first Harry Potter movie because I had read the book, and so I was just like, wow, this really follows closely to the book. I was just more enthralled with that. I don't have an opinion on him as the actor of Harry Potter. Could some other nerdy kid have done it? Yeah. Pretty much any other nerdy kid could have done it. Put some glasses on that kid and smack a fake scar on his forehead. Let's go.
I didn't like Daniel Radcliffe. I thought the actor playing Ron was all right. I never understood why everyone was thirsting over Emma Watson. If I'm being honest, she's never struck me as a remarkably attractive girl. But
she's pretty in a girl next door kind of way. I agree with Gabby that he fit the role in the description. It didn't take you out of the movie by not following the book because of his description. But like I said, Marvel Universe, you got Nick Fury. Nick Fury was white throughout like what, the 50s, 60s, 70s, like however long this character's been a character until recently has been a white man. And for one split second I saw him and said, that's not Nick Fury. And then I was like, who cares? It just pulled me out for a second, but that doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy every Avengers movie. It
Good
didn't
time.
affect me after the immediate shock of, oh, that's what they went for. It made sense. I don't know, because I wouldn't have thought about Samuel L. Jackson at all for that part, but he plays it well. So I didn't see anybody getting upset that Samuel L. Jackson was Nick Fury, and I could be wrong. He could have gotten hate for that. But why? Nick Fury is a fake character. I don't know. I think out of the Harry, you were talking about Emma Thompson. I think that most of the acting weight went to her in the Harry Potter movies.
Okay, yeah, well, she's a great actress, but I didn't understand why everyone was thirsting after her. Like, I didn't get that. Why everyone was, oh, she's gorgeous. No, she's not.
Yeah.
No, she's not. Why do you hate the Lord of the Rings movies so, Flo? Did you
I hate
enjoy
the Lord of
books?
the Rings movies too. I did not read the books. I refuse because I heard there's even more walking. I do love the Hobbit movie, so
There is a lot of walking in the books. I'm not even gonna lie.
I agree,
Like,
Gabby. Sorry, go ahead.
but why didn't they just ride the eagles?
Yeah.
No one has ever explained that to me. Just one of them, innit?
Yep.
It's like, could have ridden the eagles to Mordor, saved us 3 fucking movies.
And books.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? 9 hours worth of movies?
It's look, man. I grew up reading that book, so I'm always going to prefer the book.
Oh, the Lord of the Rings books.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
I've never read them. It's weird. Fantasy isn't my genre. As much as I love some fantasy movies, like the high fantasy, I didn't like the Warcraft movie. I didn't like Lord of the Rings. I didn't like Chronicles of Narnia.
did
I
you
just
like Spirits Within Final Fantasy?
that was a little bit different. I had a vested interest in those characters already
Yeah,
before I had watched it. So, it was a Final Fantasy thing, but no, I didn't. I watched it once and I was like, cool, okay, that was an experience I had. But I don't know. I don't like fantasy movies.
yeah. It's like Dune. It doesn't matter how many movies they pop out. I'm always going to prefer the books.
Right, and I've only ever seen the original 80s movie about 10 million times. I've never seen any of the remakes.
Dune's awesome. I love the world building in that book series.
Yeah, I've never read it. I wouldn't count that as, I don't know, would you count that as high fantasy? I've always counted that more of a
Sci-fi, fantasy.
sci-fi. Yeah, and I can do a sci-fi fantasy, man. You give me Hitchhiker's Guide. That's not the same. It's more of a comedy, but still I can do sci-fi all day long.
You know, his daughter wrote a 6th book.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it called?
It was a line from the movies, from the first book. I forget. I've never read it, but
Oh,
I didn't know it existed until recently.
that's really cool. I wonder if it's any good because I love the original. Like the Hitchhiker books are great. Like they're funny in a very sacrilegious kind of way in some ways, but I appreciate them.
You can't go wrong with all 5 of them books. Especially because they retcon the end of Mostly Harmless, I suppose. So they get
I
a
have
happy ending.
only read the trilogy. Sorry, I didn't know that there was a 4 or 5.
You've never read So Long and Thanks for All the Fish as well?
Oh shit, yeah, I have. Wait, Restaurant at the End of
That's the second one.
the Universe. What was the third one? Okay, so I've read the first four. Four?
Life, the Universe, and Everything is the third one.
And then
So long
So
and thanks
Long
for
and
all the
Thanks for All the
fish.
Fish. I
And
haven't
then
read 5
Mostly
or
Harmless.
6. I haven't read Mostly Harmless. I haven't read whatever the sixth book is.
Yeah,
And
I didn't even know it existed.
I don't think I finished So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. Part of it is because I was reading it from a leather bound book that had all of them in it. And it's kind of like looking at the Bible and going, I'm going to read all of this until it's done. It's a lot to look at all at one time and go, I'm going to do this. So then I get overwhelmed and I don't.
There's a lot going on with the Bible. I mean, it's not even telling a coherent story. So
Correct. It's like 10 million of them and you're like, "Ah." So I just look at this giant book with the first 4 whatever books of The Hitchhiker's Guide in it, and it's like this is excessive. Like, it's a lot of pages to get through. It's a tome at this point of Hitchhiker's Guide.
that sounds awesome. I've got all 5 books. They're separate though.
Yeah, that I like having everything in one place. Like, we've got Shakespeare, like the complete Shakespearean works, and Edgar Allan Poe, and many of them. I like having them all in one place. If like I want to read a specific book or play or whatever, that's fine. But like if I want to sit down and read the complete works of Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide, that's me sitting there looking at like however hundreds of thousands of pages or thousands of pages of book, looking at it going, I want to, ingest all of this into my brain. It's a lot. It's like
They're not
looking
very
at
long books though.
They're not. To be fair, I finished the first book in like a couple of days. Because when I get into a book, if you can actually get me to sit down and read, once I get into it, I will not put it down until it's finished. Like,
Yeah.
I will literally go take a shower, start reading it again. Go to work, come home, immediately start reading. I'll eat while I'm reading. Like I'm invested in that book until it's done. It's very hard to do that when you're looking at 4 books in one, though.
Yeah, that was my biggest problem with the Lord of the Rings because like all 3 of them were in one big book. It was massive. I was like, but the story dragged me in, and I really enjoyed it.
Wait, Gabby said, "What do you think about being with a man who is smaller than you?" What do you What do you mean? In what way? Like shorter, skinnier? Does he have a smaller penis than me? It's an odd question. I don't mind a short king. I used
I
to
mean,
be I used to be really weird about that when I was younger. I'd be like, "Oh, he's short and I don't really it's weird." I dated this guy named Sean who was like 5'2", and I was one of those girls. I shot up to like 5'6" by the time I was like 11, and I just stayed there forever. So I was significantly taller than this guy, and I dated him anyway, but it was always weird to hug him. Now I don't care. Like, but when I was younger, I did. I think that some girls like really worry about that. The only thing I don't like super duper skinny men. I would feel like I'm going to break their pelvis or something. I don't know. Do I wear heels sometimes? And I got some heels, girl. I got some like 8-inch heels. I got some big old stripper heels. I love wearing heels.
praying mantis dimorphism. Praying mantises aren't the only. Sorry.
Oh, no, I've never had an issue being in heels and being taller than a guy. Like, I mean, like, it's obviously happened because you get me in heels like anything really, and you're 5'8" or whatever, I'm towering over you, but it doesn't bother me any. Yeah, I would wear heels if it didn't bother him. Yeah, if it did not bother him that I was towering over him, then yeah, I would. It wouldn't bother me any. Who cares? Because if your face is at my titties, you're having a good day, right?
Definitely in your case.
Yeah, same. Gabby, I'm about 6 foot in heels, in my usual heels. And yeah, I don't see that as a problem at all. I know some women do. I think that it's more of a security thing. You know, they want someone to protect them, so they feel if they're bigger than them, then that man can't protect them. But I don't. I think that most women are okay with it. What about you, Richard? Would you date a man that was smaller than you?
Actually, first dude I slept with was significantly shorter than me.
Oh, you had like a
So,
little twink?
yeah.
That's kind of cute.
So I don't think I've ever had a man that was taller than me, thinking about it. Maybe that's my type.
Really? You like short kings?
Yeah, I like short queens too, because you're a lot shorter than me.
But 5'6" is not short, even for like a woman, because
You're pretty
I'm
tiny, babe.
I'm taller than most of the girls that I work with, and some of the men. I'm at eye level to 2 of my surgeons.
I think you're pretty small.
We're not all 6'3" or 6'4", you know. I don't think you're that tall, honestly, but I'm
Wow.
surrounded by giants. So I'm like, yeah, that's just an average heighted dude, because you know, you got 6'6", 6'8", 6'7" standing around me. Like you're short.
So are you, my love. And on that bombshell, that'll wrap us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. It's good night from me, and it's good night from her. Good night, everyone.
Good night.